Hey, I'm Greg Claycomb.
I'm Austin Pegram.
And we're at Edge Body Boot Camp just hanging out. We're going to bring you another form and function video today. I'm really excited about it because just like last week, this is one of the exercises that if you do it properly, it can be really great for you. I'm talking about there's a whole lot of benefit to this one. Or if you're not doing it right, it could be a huge waste of time. So we're going to talk about the purpose, the benefits, and the form of a plank. All right, so it's so beautiful out here. It's 70-something degrees. We just had to get outside for a minute. So I'm gonna run you through these purposes and then also gonna talk about the benefits. They kind of coincide a little bit together. So one of the major purposes of a plank is that it's gonna strengthen your core and your posterior chain. So what that means is your core, from your hips to your abs, your lower back, your obliques, all of that is gonna get stronger. All right, with stronger comes muscle, comes good looks. We'll talk about all those benefits. And your posterior chain, start walking backwards for me. Your posterior chain goes all the way from your calves, through your hamstrings, your glutes, and through your multifidi. That's a new phrase for me. All the way up throughout that spine, you guys. Along with strengthening your core and your posterior chain, you're also gonna be able to improve your balance and your posture, which pays off greatly in a lot of facets of life.
What's important to note, everybody, is that a lot of these purposes are gonna go along quite well with the benefits here of your plank, okay? So when you're planking, one thing you're getting here, body awareness, definitely body awareness. You're gonna be on the floor, you're gonna be practicing multiple variations, all right? You're gonna get really aware of what your body, what muscles are working, etc., okay? Not only that, but you're gonna tone your core, okay? You're gonna tone your core. That includes what Greg was speaking of here. We're talking posterior chain, we're talking the front of our body, our front line, back line, all of that, y'all. We're toning our core here. Not only that, but for those of you that have that lower back pain, we're talking that it's gonna get down to zero. That Illuminati sign he's showing up there. Gotta get that down to zero, y'all, okay? We don't want any of that, all right? And you'll notice that a lot of these, like I said before, are in line here with the purposes, okay? That's what we wanna shoot for when we're hitting these planks.
All right, so it's time to talk about the proper form for a plank here. Austin's gonna demonstrate while I talk you through it. The first thing we wanna focus on is the hand and arm placement. Whether you're doing a plank from your elbows or your palms, you wanna make sure that that insertion point is directly underneath your shoulder joint. Austin has a nice 90-degree angle from his back down to his arm right here. And you can see from the front here that his arms aren't too wide or too close there. A lot of times what we see is hand placement being too far in front of the shoulders. I'll show you here. That's going to put a lot of strain on the abs. It's not going to give the lower back a chance. Or if we drop down to the elbows, we see the elbows flaring out to the side a lot with the hands in closer. You see that little V shape that he has going on. Pull those elbows in and show them the proper form on this. With the elbow being directly under the shoulder joint, your forearms should be parallel with one another. Turn this to the side for us, and we're going to talk about the hip placement now. Your hips are placed relevant to your feet, all right? The stance is the variable here. If you want a little bit of an easier plank, you can go with a wider stance. Step those feet out there for me. All right, main thing that we need to make sure of is that our hips are centered with our feet, not from side to side or up or down. If you want to make this a little bit more difficult, bring those feet in together and make sure that you're staying on your tip toes, all right? Austin, go ahead and pop up for me. We're going to talk about the third step here. We have to make sure that your shoulders and your hips are at a 0-degree tilt. Here's what we mean by this. Stand up. We talked about this again, man. We always talk about this first. All right, so shoulders. We can either have an extreme posterior tilt. Shoulders. Yeah, here we go. Here's what he's talking about. Extreme posterior tilt. Let's scoot all the way up in this camera for a second. Scoot all the way up in there. All the way up in, all the way. All right, the rounded back. All right, we see this a lot. You know, a little posterior tilt. Or on the opposite side, we see an over retraction in the scapula. And that's where those shoulders are just way too far back. What we want is a 0-degree tilt. We want the shoulders right in the middle here so that your collarbones are straight across, being dissected in the shoulder joint by your spine. All right, a nice little cross in the shoulders and spine there. Now, let's come on back here. We're gonna talk about hip tilt, all right? We see a lot of posterior tilts. This means that you're hunched in, your pelvis is riding under. This provides a lot of stretching and rounding in the lower back. It's gonna make it really hard to get a contraction in the back of your core. What you're gonna get is your abs are gonna get tight and you're gonna experience back pain. All right, on the flip side, a super anterior tilt will give you cramping in the lower back, and it's going to make it really difficult for your abdominal muscles to engage. So what we want to do, just like the shoulders, is make sure that we've aligned these hips nice and centered. And once you've done this properly, you'll be able to notice that your abs, your obliques, and your lower back have an easy time contracting. All right, it's very important. Let's go pop this on the ground. That your shoulders and your hips are at a 0 degree tilt throughout the entire plank here. And whenever you do this properly, let's go ahead and get a little retraction here. You'll notice from the back of the head, through the neck and the shoulders, the lower back, hips, all the way through the hamstrings, back of the leg, calves, and heels. This is one straight line, you guys. Scoot it back here a little bit. One straight line, meaning that we don't have the hips going up. Pop those hips up a little bit. You'll see what happens. The arms go forward, we lose all attention, or we're not dragging the hips either. We see this, it's way too common that we'll get this drag in the hips, really bad for the lower back, and honestly, no benefit. All right? So, one more time with the perfect form, the last step here is that we want to focus on our gaze, meaning where our eyes are looking. All right? We want a 0 degree, which would be you looking straight down at your fingertips, up to a 30 degree tilt, which Austin has right here, where he's looking about 2 to 3 feet in front of him. And the reason for this is if you look back at your feet, go ahead and look back, you see what happened automatically. His hips rose about 3 inches there. Or if you look too far up, then you're gonna get this swoop in the upper neck. That spine is no longer gonna be straight. You're gonna lose tension in your core as your hips drag down, you guys. So, elbows, palms underneath your shoulders. Your hips are centered with your feet. Your shoulders and hips are at a 0 degree tilt, so your body's in a straight line, your spine is straight, and you need to make sure that you're looking between your fingertips and 2 to 3 feet out in front of you. All right, so we filled you in on a purpose. We talked about the benefits. We went through the form. We're getting ready to show you a lot of variations that you can do to really take these planks to the next level and improve your conditioning and core strengthening. But first, we have to say, all of this has no purpose if you don't keep your core tight. The purpose of a plank is not to last longer. We don't care how long it is if you're not going to get the benefit of keeping your core contracted. All right, this is a core strengthening and toning exercise. So it all starts with making sure your abs, your obliques, your lower back, even through your glutes, are all tight throughout the entire time. Here's 13 plank variations in 30 seconds. Plank reach outs. Plank leg lifts. Bird dogs. Good mornings. Plank sways. Plank jacks. Press ups. Plank rockers. Reverse plank. Suspension. Shoulder tap. Side plank. Hip lift. Single arm plank. So all silliness aside, you guys, I hope you learned a lot about planks from this video. We do these videos every week. We've been doing this for over 3 months now. There's plenty of videos to go back and watch if you feel like you need to learn something about the exercises that you're doing here at boot camp, all right, you guys? We want to make sure that you have top-notch fitness experience with us at Edgebody Boot Camp. If you're not a boot camp member, we always offer 3 free workouts. You can contact me, Greg Claycomb. My phone number is 502-418-7826, or my email is greg@edgebodybootcamp.com. It's all in the editing, you guys. So, back at it next week, you guys. We'll have another form and function video for you. Share this with your friends and let them know what's going on here at Edgebody.